Matt Elkins and Narissa Mcmullen have firmly established themselves as two of the most in-demand freelance drivers in Queensland. A few years ago, they purchased this property at Caminya to set themselves up, and the newly engaged couple are now firmly entrenched in the Queensland harness racing scene.
Probably all just began in the mini trotters, driving the ponies at home, and we all used to get out there, myself and Pete and Danielle, and Billy probably wasn't as interested in the early days. But yeah, that's how we all got really keen and then just started driving the big ones, and I think once you start doing it, you just get hooked on it.
Were you one of those kids who just lived and breathed harness racing, or were there other things that took your interest along the way?
No, that's really the only thing I ever did was just harness racing, and I just loved horses. I did do the shows for a little bit and rode a horse, but yeah, just loved racing.
What about your mum and dad? What were their thoughts about their kids being so firmly entrenched in the sport? I have a funny feeling your dad would have been happy with it.
Yeah, I think Dad always wanted us to all follow in his footsteps and train and drive. Mum probably wasn't so happy. She's always a little worried that something's going to go wrong, or yeah, she sort of tried to persuade me to go to uni, which I did for a little bit, but soon gave up just to drive the horses.
What about for you, Matt? In terms of your family involvement, you've got that background as well?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit different. You know, I got into it through the family and did love horses and done it early in the mini trots, but cricket was probably my first love and main love for a while, but, you know, it converted me over as it does with a lot of people.
What about your earliest memories of harness racing?
I think there's probably a few photos of me going around with a little horse running around at the show tracks and sort of those sort of meetings, Rock Lee, so it's probably the first sort of memories.
And in terms of your family involvement, your dad's been involved as a trainer for a long time, and what did he have to say about your thoughts about being in the game?
Yeah, I think he enjoyed it. You know, he was pretty keen on pursuing cricket. You know, we love sports, sort of the Elkins family, but, you know, once horse is in your blood and sort of get stuck there, and here we are today.
Narissa, I guess in your early success, you did have pretty much instant success, and your dad was a big part of that. He's been really supportive of all of his kids, giving you plenty of drives, but he's a harsh marker, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, he's sometimes a little bit difficult to work with, I guess you could say, but I think when we look back on it now, we all really appreciate what he did for us, and he definitely made us all good drivers, gave us plenty of tips out there, and it really helped us out.
What about the competitiveness in the family? Because all of your siblings are probably all a little different, and I'm sure that out there on the track, you're all keen to beat one another, but you probably pushed each other to be better too. You had Pete there to follow in his footsteps.
Yeah, definitely. I always looked up to Pete as a driver and sort of tried to follow in his footsteps, I guess, and yeah, and just being so competitive out on the track, yeah, it helps us to improve all the time.
Talk us through your first, say, 1 to 2 years as a driver. Were you happy with the success levels that you were receiving? How did you find being a female racewoman? Because probably still when you were starting out, it was still a progressive stage.
You know, I was really happy with my first few years driving. I was lucky Dad had plenty of horses in work, and I also got a few outside opportunities, so there was plenty of opportunities there, and yeah, just thankful for the support I've had.
Probably a little different for you, Matt, because your dad's never had a huge team. He still threw all of his support behind you, but you probably had to look elsewhere to get the number of drives that you were after.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Dad sort of never normally had more than 10, and that was good, but yeah, I had to sort of look for a lot of pickup drives, and it's probably why it was a pretty slow start to my career, but it sort of built up, and the more drives you got, the better it picked off.
Was there a horse that you recall sort of putting you out there and giving you the opportunities to show what you were made of it, and that helped things flow on? I know Donnie Smith gave you a few good opportunities. Yeah,
Donnie was awesome to me early days, sort of giving me a lot of quality drives. I think None Better and A Good Chance, Tenacious, one of three that stood out for him. But, you know, probably the horse that I loved and probably helped me as a driver a lot was Purple Royale that my dad had. She was exceptionally fast and probably taught me a lot of patience in driving.
Purple Royale all over the Sinofska's helmet, waiting on that sprint lane run. Deeper at the home turn, Superliner. Lavra Butan starting to let go with her sprint. They're into the home straight now. I Am Boogie leads the way. Purple Royale back to the inside. Lavra Butan starting to charge. Purple Royale, Lavra Butan post looming. Purple Royale.
Narissa, you had really good success when you started out training. Was that something that you always wanted to go down the path of? Because your strike rate was awesome early on.
Yeah, I just love the horses, and I always loved having a few of my own and enjoy training. I was really lucky when I sort of first started out. I was able to get Better Draw to train, and he's actually retired here, and he's a horse that I really had a special connection with, and he did a super job.
Better Draw leads the way. Destrayos Game on the outside. He's second. My Gelignite third. Then Majestic Mac. LeBron under pressure. Majestic Major wide of the turn than American Legend. The sprint well and truly on. Better Draw. Can he finish them off? My Gelignite gets a run on the inside. Better Draw in front. My Gelignite finishing fast. Better Draw in front. He wants it. He's got it. Better Draw. My Gelignite. Majestic Mac. Better Draw all the way.
I remember he went down to Menangle for a few races as well. What was that experience like, taking a horse away?
Yeah, they're some of my best memories, travelling to Sydney with him. And I remember he was in the Len Smith Mile and being in the retention barn with all those good trainers at such a young age. That was some really fun memories.
Better Draw the leader, out of Jerome, the dip, and down the outside, running home strongly is TONTA, but Better Draw still led. Coming late is Shipwreck, and also Yaya's Hotspot late, but Better Draw runs them off their legs and beats Yaya's Hotspot.
Having a really successful freelance career, when did yourself and Matt decide that you sort of wanted to go out on your own, and how did you come to get this property?
I think it was just when we bought the property, we sort of started looking around for our own place and found this place, and Pete and Chantel were sort of talking us into buying it, and then just got a few more horses along the way, and yeah, we're happy with how we're going. We don't have too many in work at the moment, but it's a good juggle between going to the races and driving all the time.
Matt, what was here when you moved here, and how much work has it been to get it to this stage?
Plenty of work. There wasn't a lot. There was a house and a shed which wasn't even concreted, and the rest of it we put in. It sort of took a while, but wouldn't change any of it.
This area is so prominent for harness racing, and you sort of both grew up around here. So Narissa, were you always keen to find somewhere out this way?
Yeah, it's always good to stay near family, so I think that was the main focus. But just at the time, this place came along and was sort of reasonably priced, and plenty of land here that we could work with, so that's what appealed to us.
Tell us about your track and I guess what you think the strengths of it are.
It's about a 900 metre sand track. Most of the sand's just natural sand that's dug out from where we put the dam in. And the sand just seems to really toughen them up. Found most of our horses race well when we sort of drive them hard, and can do a bit of work, which is something that we like.
Whether it be an owner or a mentor or someone that really pushed you to do this and has supported you. Narissa mentioned Pete and Chantel, but have there been others along the way?
Yeah, Dad's sort of been a big supporter, and Mum, they've been great. Always pushed me along and always trying to tell me if I'm taking things too crazy and should get a few more horses, but they've been great supporters. And then I think Trevor Barsby was a great help when we first moved out here. He sort of not only great to talk to about horses and bought a couple of horses for us, but just chats in life general and sort of help you through everyday living and has a different look on life, I guess.